Hello, it's IELTS with me tutorial, and today I'm going to show you how to write a Band 9 essay for your IELTS writing task 1, okay? And in this module, we are gonna learn more about data essays and learn and analyze three-step process, okay? Let's start. Regarding data essays and the method of three-step process. In IELTS writing task 1, you must be able to answer the task within 20 minutes, okay? And to ensure that you have actually enough time, for example, 40 minutes for writing task 2, okay? Actually, I need more time, for example, 50 minutes for my writing task 2 question. Okay, for task 1, most test papers ask you to describe data. Actually, there are other possibilities as well, such as maps, follow diagram, or image comparison tasks. Okay, we know that. As it is data essays actually are most probable that you will get a data task, right? Remember, okay, and pay attention that Cambridge IELTS consultants have developed a three-step process for dealing with data quickly, which many of candidates have used to get very high IELTS bands. One of them is actually me, okay? Let's start. Step 1 is analyze the task and data. In this regard, read the task 1 instructions and look at the charts, graphs or tables with it for about 1 minute. Make sure that you understand the following. You have to practice it and learn it to be, to read it very fast. In step 1A is you have to be able to say, is this static data or movement data? What are the time scales? Okay. The difference is that static data shows one time scale only, okay? Static data, we have only one time scale, for example, in 2022 only, while movement data shows a number of different time scales from 2022 to 2000, for example, 12, okay? For example, a static data chart may show the population of 5 different cities in 2002, and you need to compare the numbers. For example, here we see 5 cities, okay, population in the year 2022, right? And in movement data, we see a population of 5 different cities in 2022 and in 2012, okay? A movement data chart would show the 5 cities in 2002 and 2012, and you need to compare the changes in the situation from one time scale to another one. Okay, here is important. It's essential to be clear about this difference because the way you write about the data will be different. In static chart, actually, we are gonna focus on size, okay? Size as well as changes, right? As well as portions, percentages, okay? The difference between them, right? But in movement chart, we are gonna talk about changes what happened between the years, okay? Between years, there are changes actually, okay? What happened between the blue and red, right? This is their actually difference. In a static chart, you will compare the sizes and proportions of the figures, numbers. In movement chart, you will also compare the changes in the figures over time. Remember that in task 1 data, the information could be all static and or all movement, or occasionally a combination of both. The next point to be sure about in step 1 of process is, okay, we are gonna do what? And step 1b is what do the two axes show? Is there a time scale on one axis, for example, years, month, hours, etc.? Is there a time scale? Is this showing the past, present, future, or a combination? This is important. What units are shown? For example, thousands of people, degrees centigrade, or prices in dollars. Be clear about any multiples in the figures, thousands of people or millions of tons. To illustrate this, look at our example 3, okay? Here we see electricity use in a typical hospital, megawatt or MV. This is a movement chart. Why? Why this is a movement chart? Because we show 7 time scales, because we saw 7 days, okay? No year, right? It's shown, so you should use the present simple to describe the data, okay? There is no year. For writing these kind of question, actually, to be able to write answer, you have to use present simple tense. The axes are days of the week and 5 separate countries: France, Canada, Japan, Russia, Argentina. The units are shown electricity megawatts, okay, megawatt or MV, not in thousands or millions. This is important. Okay. Remember that the information about the time scales, the axis or the units may be located on the chart itself, okay, or it may be in a caption or contained in the task description. Therefore, you have to check everywhere. Remember that in the IELTS test, you can, of course, write your notes on the test paper as you wish. Don't be distracted by the fact that some tasks have bar chart formats, while other tasks have line graphs, pie charts, or tables. The way that the data is presented could be any of these formats, and you need to practice analyzing data from all formats. Remember that there is no method for bar charts or method for line graphs and etc. relevant to IELTS. You should approach the data in the same way, using, okay, 3-step process. In the test, you have now actually completed step 1, and we are gonna sure about this vital points. Okay, in the step 2, you have to first group the data. This means deciding which group of data are similar to each other. For example, look at example chart 3 again and ask yourselves which countries have similar pattern in their use of electricity. Are any of the countries very different? Okay, France from 30 to 31, 33, 31, 32 fluctuated, right? Japan 18, 19, 17, 18, 79 fluctuated again, okay? Canada 26, 7. It's we see increasing pattern in Russia. Again, in Russia we also see increasing pattern, and in Argentina 9, 10, 9, 7, 6, 5 decreasing pattern, right? Okay, now we know how should we group the data. The answer is that we can group France, Japan together because their pattern is similar. Their electricity figures fluctuated, goes up and down during the whole week. We can also group Canada and Russia together because they have a similar pattern. Their electricity figures rise considerably toward the weekends. Increasing pattern. Argentina is different from these two groups because it declines towards the weekend. Okay, we said that at this is a classic examples of grouping data together. It's essential for you to be aware that all IELTS task 1 data include these concepts of groups because the examiner want to see that you can identify groups, trends, and exceptions. Okay. Next step, identify trends. We group data and now we should identify trends and exceptions. It's important. When you have decided on the groups of data, identify the trends, exceptions that the groups show. A trend means a pattern which is common or shared by a group. An exception is a group or an element which behaves differently from the trend. An exception is a group or an element which behaves differently from the trend. It's far away from the trend, right? Okay, let's analyze this chart 4. This is a movement chart. Why? We have different time scales, okay, on the top, and the units are shown here in dollar, right? Yeah, and we can group the figure into two groups, passengers and ticket price. And we see that the higher the passenger number, the higher the higher is the cost of the ticket. Higher passenger number, the higher ticket number, right? Higher passenger number, higher ticket prices, right? It is true that from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. and again from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., right? However, we have one exception. The situation for the two groups at 6 p.m. is different, right? Here a number of passengers pay a very low ticket price. Okay, we have to pay attention to that. This is a simple example of deciding on the groups in the data. We can now decide on the trend and exception. The trend is for high passenger numbers, okay, to match high ticket price. The exception is the 6 p.m., right, when the reverse is true. Remember that in the test you should look for the trends and exception, okay? Thank you so much. I will gonna continue in part 1, part 2, and part 3. Thank you so much for your support, and we will see you soon in another IELTS with me tutorial. Take care. See you soon. Bye.